What's going on, everyone? Coming to y'all with another knife review, and I do apologize for the way that I sound right now. I kind of lost my voice singing at a gig last week, and I'm slowly beginning to get it back. And I've been wanting to review this knife ever since I got it, because I've carried it literally every day since you saw the unboxing video. And I love this thing. Spoiler alert, I absolutely love this SRM model 255L. Okay? So I wanted to do my review and tell you guys what all I think. Disclaimer, the knife was provided to me by SRM for the purposes of review. However, my opinions are entirely my own, and my experiences are entirely my own, formed from everyday use and going out of my way to test the blade in the EDC roll. So I have the packaging here, so let's go ahead and go over it. So SRM, stay ready for more. You guys may also know them as Sanrenmu. A very popular knife company, especially about 15 years ago, whenever people were discovering their Model 710, which was, the poor man's Sebenza, the famous poor man's Sebenza. And they're continuing to make knives today, and they've branched out into some really original designs, which I think is really cool. So here's our packaging. You can see some QR codes. Then we have our model number information. Caution, keep sharp things away from children. Then we have all of that information there. We go ahead and open this up. What we're going to find on the inside, it's actually fairly nice packaging for what it is. We have a little bit of a mini catalog that shows off some other things that they make and sell. 9201. I do actually have one of these in for review as well. 9202. I have a review on this knife. 9211. Pretty cool stuff. And then this does open up to reveal even more product that they make, which is all well and good. Cool to see. Not something I'm going to peruse much, just because I have the internet right at my fingertips. But then we also get this little drawstring bag, which is nice, kind of a cute little thing, and then a little desiccant pack. What most folks are going to care about is the knife itself. What can I tell you about this knife? Well, I can tell you that we have a 3.2-inch blade made of 10CR15 COMOV. Okay, what is that? It's functionally Chinese VG10. Okay, it's going to perform somewhere in the realm of VG10 steel. And in my experience, that's what it did. It held a pretty good edge. Not an amazing edge, but it held its edge better than something like an 8CR13 or a 440C. It touched up incredibly readily. Believe it or not, I've never sharpened this knife. And that doesn't mean that it's never been touched up, okay? What that means is I have taken it against a honing steel. Honing is not the same as sharpening, just as stropping is not the same as sharpening. In fact, as long as you don't let your knife go butter knife dull, you won't really have to sharpen them all too often. And the edge came back to this thing beautifully with just a little bit of honing, and it is back to a hair shaving razor edge. Out of box, it may be the sharpest knife I ever received from any manufacturer out of the box. It was genuinely scary sharp. Okay, the 10CR15 COMOV also has excellent rust resistance. I live in a very humid state. I've never oiled this thing, and it has never developed any signs of any rusting whatsoever. So I actually love the blade steel. I always like a steel that holds a decent edge, is easy to sharpen, and takes a beautiful edge, as well as has high rust resistance. That's why 440C is my favorite go-to blade steel, despite all of the crazy super steels that have come out since. It's why I still love steels like VG10 and 154CM. And this 10CR is right in line with that. Beautiful drop point shape. Like I mentioned, it's 3.2 inches in length. Full flat ground, or at least 95% full flat ground. We do have a small upper flat there. And then on the blade we can see the logo SRM, stay ready for more. On the back side of the blade, just the model number information again, as well as what I have to assume is some kind of patent information. As far as how the blade performs in EDC tasks, it slices beautifully. Okay, I put this thing through a ton of cardboard boxes. For those who don't know, I recently have taken over, I say recently, back in January, I took over running the local music store for my buddy Corey. And so I've been handling all the daily operations, open to close, every kind of task, and that includes breaking down a hell of a lot of cardboard boxes. Large cardboard boxes meant for, that they would ship guitars in and guitar cases in, as well as all the smaller boxes for our string orders, our strap orders, our cable orders, so on and so forth. And this has been the knife I've carried literally every day, and the knife I've used to break down all of those cardboard boxes. So I have a ton of use with this blade in slicing through cardboard, and I'll tell you, it slices beautifully. Okay, sliced beautifully, sliced easily, because the blade is also relatively thin. Not crazy thin, it's not like notably thin, but it's not wedging through the cardboard, and so it glides through with minimum ease. Nice satin finish also helps with that. I find that coated blades tend to create a little bit of drag. This, being satin, created no drag. Other tasks I put it into, just your typical EDC stuff. Opening up packages, obviously did well at that. Food preparation, did well at that. It's just a great utilitarian blade shape. Deployment and lockup, we can see we have these dual thumb studs. Very standard step design, and comes out fast. I mean, we can very easily get access to those studs, and it pops out nice and quick. Lockup, no play up and down, no play side to side. And if we ever did develop any, we do have an adjustable pivot point there. So it wouldn't be very hard to get it square away. Centering on this knife, as you can see, perfect. No issues whatsoever. The handle on this is made from a polished G10. It's not super grippy, but it's not slick either. G10 always has a natural level of grip to it, and I would call that, the lower end of medium traction. 4.3 inch long handle, beautiful gray coloration. They do make it in another color. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I love this gray G10. Looking inside the handle, you can see very minimal steel liners, and that results in this knife being as light as it is, a whopping 2.4 ounces. Super light for the size. Now, that's not as uncommon as it used to be, but what that means is we're getting a good balance between a functional EDC size. I'm not going to say a larger EDC blade. I like about a 2.5 to 3 inch EDC blade typically. This is slightly larger than that. But when we getting a blade of this length at this weight, I consider that to be a pretty good deal. Okay, the locking mechanism is their Ambi lock. It's essentially the Benchmade Axis lock. Now that everyone has rights to it. And I'll say this, the spring tension in here is fantastic. Most companies who try an Axis lock, they don't get the spring tension right, and so it takes way too much effort to pull the lock backwards, which makes deploying the knife with the lock difficult. And as you can see here, this is every bit as fluid as any Benchmade Axis lock I've ever used. It really is just great. I mean, it's smooth as can be. Doesn't take much to pull it back, but still holds up very well under pressure. One touch I enjoy about this is you can see we have, and it's a little cheesy because it still says the stay ready for more on the back of it, but we have a metal spacer that kind of covers the upper section of the back of the handle where that Axis lock is, and that helps keep any debris from getting into it, which I personally really enjoy. For a lanyard, we have a kind of bail design where you feed it in through here and pull it out through here on a rolled spacer. Okay, and because of that, it can accommodate any size of 550 cord or paracord you'd like to use. The pocket clip on here is actually kind of the big deal, and it is a feature that I very much enjoy. So first of all, it is a loop over deep carry clip. I've got on record many times of saying I'm not a huge fan of loop over deep carry clips. Everyone has their personal preferences. That's just mine. I'll show you how it rides. Okay, varies completely. But what is so special about this? Well, it's how easily reversible it is to the other side. So, all we do is pinch this together, and then we can extract pocket clip, and it's held in place inside the handle by these two little metal nubs. So as we take it over and then insert it into the handle, it locks in place. And now we can position it for a left-handed carry. Okay, I think this is a brilliant design because it makes it super easy for a lefty or a righty to put the pocket clip where they want, or just take the pocket clip off entirely. The clip tension is perfect, and despite being a loop over deep carry clip, it doesn't create, much of a hot spot. I can feel it. I can feel it right here in the fat of the palm of my hand, but it's not bad. And so the ergonomics on this knife, I would say, are pretty good. It doesn't melt in the hand. I mean, okay, if I can feel the clip, I'm not going to say it melts in the hand, but I'm going to say the ergonomics are good enough that it is comfortable, and I didn't find it was uncomfortable when, bearing down on it to cut. Excuse me. So, no complaints there. What I will say is that I think that they still have a little bit of a ways to go with the clip design, and what I mean by that is I think that they should make these nubs on each side just a little bit longer, because it is possible to accidentally remove the pocket clip when putting the knife into the pocket if you push down a little bit too hard. Okay, it's going to be hard to show, but I'm just going to push this up, and you can see that without squeezing the tabs together, it is possible to push that clip out. And the more you carry it, the easier it becomes. So it's not a flawless design, but I still think it's a very good design. So overall, what do I have to say about the Sanrenmu, or SRM, 255L-GK? I think it is an outstanding EDC blade. What is the price on this? Well, the MSRP, which no one will ever pay because you never pay the MSRP, is $72.95. Whenever I looked on eBay, I saw these listing for about $55, and honestly, for $55, it is hard to go wrong. It really is a nearly perfect knife, in my opinion. So much so that my brother is stealing this one from me as soon as I tell him this review is posted, because he's been waiting to take this knife from me because he loves it that much. And I would love to hang on to it and keep it as an EDC blade, but I'm always providing the people in my life with knives to carry, and so if he wants this one that bad, then I guess he can have it. So that's been my review of the SRM 255L-GK. It is a really solid choice for an EDC blade at a very high value. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, I'll see you later. Peace and take care.